Hi, my name is Luke Haliburton from the LMU Munich in Munich, Germany. I'm presenting our paper, The Walking Talking Stick, Understanding Automated Note-Taking in Walking Meetings. This work was done in collaboration with Natalia Bartłomiejczyk, Albrecht Schmidt, Paweł Woźniak, and Jasmin Niess. Many modern workplaces are built around sitting, especially those for knowledge workers. Workers sit at desks completing tasks and conduct meetings either from their desks online or sitting around a meeting table. The negative health consequences of sedentary work have been extensively studied in the public health literature, showcasing increased risks for multiple health complications and diseases. One recognized solution is conducting walking meetings, which is holding a discussion on a walk. Walking has been shown to improve health and well-being and boost creativity. And walking meetings enable workers to be productive and healthy simultaneously. Past work in HCI has highlighted opportunities and challenges for walking meetings. Taking notes is one of the most prominent challenges limiting walking meetings. Currently, walking meetings are only seen as appropriate for brainstorming and informal chats. In response, past work has developed persuasive technology to encourage walking meetings and infrastructure-based solutions to enable note-taking. However, there is a lack of solutions offering flexible, real-time note-taking on the move. And to address this issue, we investigated automated transcription-based note-taking for walking meetings using a research through design approach. Prior work has shown that tangible artifacts facilitate memory, cues, and shared imagination, and there's also evidence showing that highlighting produces more useful notes. As such, we developed two versions of a prototype we call the Walking Talking Stick to answer the following research question. How does a shared tangible recording artifact impact walking meetings? First, let's look at the design and implementation of the Walking Talking Stick. First, past work shows that note-taking is a major challenge for walking meetings, as I have said. Walking meetings typically have 2 to 4 participants, and so the prototype should record audio from 2 to 4 people while walking. Since we're interested in creating notes, the prototype should also generate text. Tangible artifacts have been shown to positively impact memory and shared imagination, as I've stated, and also storytelling. The prototype should therefore be a tangible artifact. Prior work shows that highlighting creates more useful transcripts and improves information recall. And the form of the walking talking stick was chosen based on a traditional hiking staff, which communicates the intention of walking outdoors and being in motion. We also drew inspiration from talking sticks, which are traditional objects in cultures across several continents used to indicate the right to speak or signifying important conversation, and they're often shared objects. Whether or not to include a highlighting function was a key design consideration since it requires a potentially distracting manual interaction. As such, based on the design considerations, we created two versions of the walking talking stick, one with a highlighting button and one without. The prototype consists of a Bluetooth microphone mounted on top of an extendable monopod. The button version of the prototype additionally has a Bluetooth button mounted on top. The prototype functions as a walking stick. It records audio in 360 degrees up to 25 meters, is adjustable in height, and is easily shared. On the software side, we used Otter AI to automatically generate real-time transcripts, and we created a custom script to communicate between the Bluetooth button and Otter's built-in highlighting function. So let's look at an example conversation just to demonstrate how that button functions to highlight important details. So first, speaker 1 says, "So then the date is decided." Speaker 2 replies, "Yes, we'll have the event on January 5th. One of the speakers then presses the button, and the previous statement is highlighted. Then the conversation continues. As such, the users always press the button after something important has been said. To evaluate the walking talking stick, we conducted a user study. We recruited 60 participants to conduct walking meetings in pairs. And since we recruited participants in pairs, all of the participants already knew one another to some extent. We used a between subjects design with 20 participants in each of 3 task conditions. The first condition was a baseline condition where participants used off-the-shelf clip-on microphones. In the second condition, participants used the stick prototype to record their conversation. They were free to pass the stick back and forth as often or as little as they liked. And finally, the third group used the stick with the highlighting button. Participants were free to choose their own strategy for using the button. This figure shows the procedure for the experiment. All participants were given the same one-page meeting prompt at the beginning. The prompt instructed participants to plan a future workshop, so to conduct a planning meeting. The prompt also asked them to consider detailed information like a title, a date, and potential invitees. Participants were then assigned to a condition group and conducted a walking meeting along a 1.1 kilometer loop outside. The distance was chosen because it takes approximately 15 minutes to complete. After the meeting, participants completed a questionnaire and an exit interview individually. Now let's look at the results. We analyzed conversation metrics based on the recorded conversations. Participants in the button condition had significantly shorter and more frequent speaker turns than either other condition. In the questionnaire, we asked users about their perceptions. All conditions had low perceived stress and high ratings for engagement in the conversation, perceived contribution to the conversation, and likelihood of using the system in the future. We also collected qualitative feedback from the exit interviews. For recording, most participants mentioned that they completely forgot about being recorded. This was actually true across all conditions, and shown by the quote, "It was non-existent. I didn't think 1 minute or 1 second that it was recorded." However, some participants noticed the recording on a positive note. For example, "I feel free to forget things because I didn't have this need of storing my main points of my conversation." Similar to being recorded, many participants forgot that they were holding the stick. However, for some, the stick was a constant reminder that I'm on a serious work meeting situation and not just taking a walk with a friend. Regarding the button, most participants communicated that they pressed the button when they had reached a decision. They would summarize and restate their decision and then press the button to highlight it. Several participants also proposed that there should be multiple buttons so that participants could create individual notes or individually contribute to a shared note. To see the rest of the results, as well as these results in more detail, please refer to the paper. For now, let's move on to the discussion. First, recording gives confidence for more complex meetings. Our participants felt free to forget, knowing that the system would record their conversation. Our results therefore suggest that users can conduct more complex meetings compared to the usual tendency towards brainstorming and informal chats. However, future work should investigate whether access to such systems actually leads to different meeting types being conducted on the move in practice. A physical artifact communicates shared understanding. Our results indicate that the shared artifact helped participants focus on the task and signified that they were conducting a serious meeting. However, participants were split on whether they liked the large size, as it was a good indicator that they were on a serious meeting, or whether they wanted something smaller and more discreet. Likely, different form factors are appropriate for different users in different contexts. The highlighting button facilitates turn-taking and summarization. The button led to shorter, more frequent conversation turns, also known as increased interactivity. In related work on conversation dynamics in the medical field, they recommend increasing interactivity to improve physician-patient conversations and increase understanding. This suggests that the button could improve inter-participant understanding in meetings. Most participants' strategy for using the button was to summarize and restate points, both of which are mnemonic strategies to improve memory and are also recommended note-taking techniques. So this indicates that using the button actually promotes effective memory and note-taking practices. And this brings me to the end of my talk. If you'd like to get more detail about our study and the findings, please take a look at the paper or feel free to contact me if you have any other questions. Thank you very much.